And I had a question for you that's come out about. I wanted to ask you about TV possibilities or film possibilities for Sydney. Did you at any point ever envision this as a TV series, or was this always going to be a young adult novel? And if so, why?
It was always going to be a young adult novel for me. Do I have aspirations of a television series? Well, yes.
I mean, I assume you know people. I assume if anybody could be in a position to maybe get the wheels turning on that.
So there's a definitive yes answer to that. But there's also for me, Sid's novel. I think that different, somebody asked me if I would do the adaptation. I said, if I had to, I would. I said, but not preferably. I think there are better screenwriters than I will ever do for adapting that. And I think it's about skill sets. I think there are people who I have huge admiration for, and they will bring things that I will not bring as well. Because if I would have brought it as well, I would have written the screenplay and not bothered with the novel. They're different. They're different mediums. So that for me is is sort of where that landed. But yes, I have aspirations of it certainly becoming preferably a series. Yes.
But not by you. Well, what would that experience be? Would you be able to sit down and enjoy it, or would you sit back and say, "Oh, that's not what I would have done"?
I would have produced. I will produce it. I just.
Oh, okay.
Show running is a really, as I say, really challenging and unique craft, and I think you should know what is probably not your best bet in life. And at this point in my life, to be able to have the ability to turn out seasonal arcs followed by thumbnails, followed by outlines, followed by beat sheets, followed by, I didn't grow up writing that. And I think that would be not a smart use of my skill set, but I think it is a brilliant use of people who I really respect. And so I would, and I think that a collaboration for Sid will only make her stronger. So I would love to be part of it, just not the writer.
No, I'm curious. I've got a few questions about television. I don't spend a lot of time on it, but I'd be missing a huge opportunity if I didn't ask a couple of things. One thing I wonder about is my mother is a dental hygienist, so every room we ever go into, she'll tell me about people's teeth because that's what she's looking at while we're talking. When she's talking to them. So I wonder if you sit back and you're watching just a TV show or something else, whereas me, who's not doing that, I can watch it and I suspend my disbelief. The acting doesn't seem that great, but it's fine. Can you do that? Or are you sitting back like, I know that person. They're not heroic. That's this is nonsense. I know that's a cheap set, and I'm taken out of it. Or do you feel like it's work when you're watching, or are you still able to be captivated and taken away?
Oh, this is such a tough question because the answer is both. When it's good, you're absolutely captivated and taken away. When you're slightly bored, it's bad because this is exactly what you start to do. You start to kind of, and where it's compassionate is an understanding of something where you'll say, wow, that was, considering the limitations of that budget, what they were able to do is remarkable. So, it falls into different categories, but you shouldn't necessarily know somebody's budget. That's on the other hand, there are shows that you watch and the drama is, or the comedy, whatever the, other times, by the way, the inverse of that would be to say, you look at Game of Thrones and say, wow, I wish I had that kind of money on a show I made. So it goes both ways. And the money was on screen. You can't say it wasn't. But there's also those moments of just, no, you're transported. You are watching something just like anybody else and just saying, wow, that's really just good. And I think that happens more in drama because if you get pulled into it, everything else fades out. Whereas, in effects movies, you still see effects. I think in other places you see other things, but in pure drama, when you're watching people hold the screen on you in that manner, I think that you lose, you stop writing the script for them and you just sit in that pocket.
I get tired with effects movies sometimes. Like I've lost my taste for Transformers. I've seen all the Transformers movies I'm ever going to see. I'm aware they've continued making them. I'm set because I'm very conscious that I'm watching a high tech version of Roger Rabbit. I'm watching somebody walk around in a suit and nothing around them is real. And if it's Batman v Superman, where I'm very aware that that's the truth, but I still love Batman enough that I'm going to stay with it, then that's fine. But I think we were talking about Aquaman. I don't remember if we were talking about that before the show or I think it was before the show. And I was making that comment about I can't really watch that movie again. I saw it once in the theater and I'm good. And Jason Momoa looked amazing. It was fun. But when everybody's hair is computer CGI'd and they're all obviously on wire, there's a part of me that's just that, okay, it's fun. I'm having a good time. But I know none of you are underwater. It's very off-putting.
But I have to say, I think, I am still a go to the movie theater for popcorn movies person. I still like to go in and watch, a big Avengers movie on the screen and have a good time. I don't know that I'd want to watch them on the small screen, though, for some of the reasons you're talking about. It becomes too easy in your living room to sort of pick them apart. But for the 2 hours with my big thing of popcorn, with my big thing of unhealthy popcorn at the movie theater, I'm incredibly happy in the seat watching things go boom. And I just give that over to them. I'm like, they're just fun. There's nothing, there is no there. And you just kind of have to, for me, enjoy the moment of it.
Even when you're watching, The Dark Knight, you're like, oh my God, Heath Ledger is amazing. Christian Bale is really doing this Batman thing to his best. That's Anthony Michael Hall. I know him. That's not how he is when he's nervous and terrified by the Joker. It doesn't take you out, something like that.
Well, that's then you get into sort of what I would call a deeply personal place, because there are actors and after you've worked with people, I think across the board. I mean, I turned on the TV one night, there was an episode of NCIS, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's Emily Rose. And I went and I got my phone and I took a photo, and then I texted Emily and I said, look where I just found, So I think anytime you know people personally, your reaction's slightly different. I don't think you can stop that.